Hello class, today we're going to be talking about tables and other miscellaneous Bootstrap things. The Bootstrap table design is opt-in, which means that the appropriate class must be used to change from classic HTML look to Bootstrap appearance. To change a table to the Bootstrap appearance, add the table class to a table element. Bootstrap context colors can be added to table row, table head, and table data elements by adding the table color class. For example, table-info or table-warning or table-primary. Zebra striping can be added to the table rows through use of the table striped class for a table element. For example, the table striped. Question number 1. Match each table to the appropriate class attribute. The answers are as follows. The red table is table danger, and it is striped from the table striped class. The gray and white table is table striped. The dark table is table dark, and the last table is table success. It's green and striped. The table hover class can also be added to a table element so that each row will change color when hovered over. A specific row or cell can be highlighted through use of the table active class on the desired element. Tables can have borders between columns added to them through the use of the table bordered class, and border colors can be changed to Bootstrap utility colors through use of the border color classes, such as border warning, or border primary, or border danger, border info. To remove all borders, use the table borderless class. Smaller tables can be created with the table-sm class, which halves the padding for the cell elements. Vertical alignment within tables can be controlled via the align position classes, such as align middle or align top. By enclosing a table in a div with the table responsive class, tables can become horizontally scrollable. Adding a dash in size to the table responsive allows for responsiveness up to a certain breakpoint.
Alright, some other utilities include overflow and opacity. The overflow property of text can be modified with 4 default classes, which are overflow auto, which cuts off the text but makes it scrollable horizontally, overflow hidden, which cuts off the text and doesn't make it scrollable, overflow visible, which doesn't cut off the text, and overflow scroll, which cuts off the text both horizontally and vertically and makes it scrollable both ways. So here's our question on overflow. Which of the following is not a valid overflow class? That's right, it's overflow screen. You may have been thinking of overflow scroll, but overflow screen does not exist. Now, opacity. The opacity of an element can change the transparency level using percent values classes, such as opacity 100 or opacity 25. How do you set an element with an opacity of 25%? That's right. It's opacity -25.
Shadows in Bootstrap are set with the class shadow none for no shadow, shadow small or shadow-sm for small shadows, shadow for a regular shadow, and shadow-lg for a large shadow. visibility. In Bootstrap, you can edit the visibility of an element with the invisible class. What this class does is it makes the element not visible to the user, but the element will still take up the space that it took up originally when it was still visible, as you can see here and there. The regular shadow and the large shadow didn't move up to fill in the space. How do you create a shadow with Bootstrap? The correct answer is B, with the shadow class. When you use the invisible class in Bootstrap, what happens? B, the element will disappear from the page, but the space it took up will remain taken by an invisible element. Sizing. So to change the width of an element, you can use W dash some number, and that will change it by a %. It's like opacity, but with a W.
Next, we're going to talk about interactions. Bootstrap allows for custom classes, which can affect how a user can interact with an HTML element. These elements can be customized to only react to keyboard interactions, or pointer interactions, or both, or neither. So the first way you can change interaction is via changing how text selection works. This is done by changing the class value of an element. So when you set the class to user select all, the whole paragraph is selected when the user just clicks on it once. User select auto is just default select behavior. So if you double click, it selects a word, and if you click again, it selects the whole paragraph. And class user select none prevents the user from selecting an element at all. Bootstrap also provides custom classes to change how links react when clicked on. Use class equals PE none to prevent the user from clicking on the link. Use class PE auto to enable default link behavior. And these class values are inherited from a parent to a subclass. So for example, if within this paragraph class I have PE none, and then I have one link which doesn't set its own class value, I have another link which sets PE auto, then the class value for link 1 will still be PE none because the paragraph class applies there. But for link 2, the link will be clickable because its PE auto class overrides the original PE none from paragraph. This is our question on links. I don't think it's a second question. I think it's a little bit more than that. But how do you prevent a link from being clicked? That's right, it's C, class equals PE none. These are some of our sources for this information. And thank you very much for watching. We hope you learned a little bit about tables and other miscellaneous items in Bootstrap.
Whoa.
Bye-bye.
I'm David Gu and I love you.
Achoo!